Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. Ryan Dungey is going to steal the Moto win and the overall at Glen Helen. Oh, Dungey squeezed them off. Dungey's going to try to take it. Ryan Dungey wins here in Colorado. Checker flag is out. Ryan Dungey has won the Moto. Ryan Dungey, your series points leader, and look at some of these stats. Not only a three-time national motocross champ, but he is third all-time on the combined pro motocross win list here in the United States. But even with all those accolades, sometimes it's hard for an athlete who's trying to stay humble, stay hungry, to rest on his laurels. So I don't know if he has the full appreciation for all the success he's already had.
You know, I hope this is where I would be. I mean, there's still a lot I want to accomplish and go after, but it's good to see climbing those lists of the record books and everything like that. It's exciting, but you know, you don't keep climbing the list by looking at them. You know, it's each race, it's preparing, and you know, I'm hungrier than ever. You know, so it's not going to make me settle. You know, there's still a lot I want to do, and I guess when it's all said and done, we can reflect and look at it. But yeah, I mean, I dreamed of being to be in this position one day, so it's definitely exciting.
And here's your Lucas Oil upcoming schedule. These are the races Ryan Dungey's focused on now. The ones he's won in the past, he'll think about that when he's retired. He wants to go to Budds Creek and Redbud and Spring Creek and all the way on through, get more wins and potentially this title. But it will not be easy. Ken Roczen second in the first moto, last year's champ, going to try to take him down here at High Point. 450 class coming your way.
Ryan Dungey is carving a place for himself among the legends of the sport. Last week in Tennessee, the Red Bull KTM rider earned his 40th career motocross victory. He now sits third on the all-time wins list.
Checker flag is out. Ryan Dungey has won the Moto.
A lot of racing left, so each moto, we got to give it our all. We'll get there.
Dungey leads the points as he pursues his third career title in the Premier class, a feat only 5 men have accomplished in the sport's history. The championship now moves to the West Virginia-Pennsylvania border and one of the most venerable racetracks. Ryan Dungey leads the 450 field to the starting gate for Moto 2.
We're nearly ready to go racing here. The 450 class Moto 2 here live on NBCSN. Jason Wygant, Grant Langston, Georgia Lindsay here. We had a Moto an hour ago in the 450 division. We will show you the highlights. Christophe Pourcel on the white 377 goes a little wide in turn 1. Justin Barcia on the 51 going to steal the whole shot away from him. And here comes Ryan Dungey on the number 5.
Dungey in the opening few laps was just clinical, carving his way through the field. He passed one up the other, gets around Ken Roczen, makes it look easy, sets aside on Christophe Pourcel, doubles through that corner, and Dungey would get around the outside of Barcia, squares him up the inside, gets the drive, and from there, Jason, the rest was history.
Yeah, he was gone in the lead. Great battle for second. Barcia would go down, leaving Pourcel and Roczen here to fight for the second place spot. Roczen on the number 1. Going to try this outside and just get Pourcel. A good 10 minutes of battle in between those two. And Pourcel stayed close right down to the end. Best ride of the year for the Frenchman who had finished third. But no one had an answer for Ryan Dungey. That's 450 Moto 1. However, Moto 2 coming your way next. We'll combine the results from the upcoming race and this one that we just completed to determine the day's overall winner. Pourcel, as we mentioned, third. His teammate Anderson fourth. Barcia is fifth. Good recovery from the crash. And now let's reintroduce Georgia Lindsay at the GoPro starting gate.
Okay, Ryan Dungey first in that first moto that we just had there. What did you do recovery in between motos? And after watching the 250 class, how do you think the check's changed?
Well, just got back and got some water and eat a little bit of something. The turnaround's really quick, but not much for changes of the bike. You know, everything felt pretty good. The track's getting a little bit drier, but it's still pretty rutted. So, you know, good start's going to be key as well. But really happy with everything. You know, the bike's working good, so that's nice. No big changes. So we'll try to get out front and ride our own race.
All right, thank you, Ryan. And the other side of me, we're going to go to this guy who we have not caught up for in a while, Mr. Will Hahn. Well, it's awesome to have you here. We haven't caught up much in the season, but do you want to give your fans out there a bit of an update?
Yeah, I think that even though it looks like I haven't been racing, I have been. Even though I've been under the radar and just getting my feet wet again. It's been a long time since I've done this, and it's nice to get the reassurance that doing all the right things and making the right strides forward. And I just got a good group behind me at the Monster Energy Kawasaki team and my trainer Ryan, and just had a good support group to my parents and all that. And again, this team, I can't stress that enough that these guys are being patient with me and just trying to make small strides every weekend.
Perfect. Well, best of luck. Thanks, Will.
Solid performance for Will in the top 10 in Moto number 1. Moto 2 coming your way on NBCSN after this. Back here at High Point, Bud Light Fast qualifier this morning was Christophe Pourcel. Big step up for him, not only fast in qualifying, but a great race for third in our first moto earlier today. Here's a GoPro track preview. Got the Hero 4 cam on Ken Roczen. This is from your first moto right off the start.
Well, he mentions he gets touched in the first turn. It was Phil Nicoletti gets hit right there. You see it upsets him. A few guys swallow him up, but listen to that roost. Roczen made a good recovery from this. You see Ryan Dungey right there. And they come over this tunnel jump, but Dungey made really good work with these riders. This is these rollers. What makes them really tricky is you're going through a left-hander as well. Kind of a little unorthodox for a lot of riders. And we're going to pick up the Kawasaki track map right from that section where we go into the new part of the track. Drop off that Lucas Oil jump. Now you hook this left. Back up the hill. Triple step up. Give it a squirt of gas. Make sure you land. Back on the brakes. Turn. Down the hill. Accelerate. Then back on the brakes. This section, tight. Over the Bud Light jump. Make a right. This has changed a little bit. So they don't double that. Shave down. Come into this left-hander. Then you go past the fans. Sweeping left. Over this, what is now a massive quad jump. For these 450s, should be not a major issue getting over. Track's drying out. And then a left over the fly racing jump. Another right, left. A lot of elevation followed by rights and lefts. And the ruts are going to be really deep in this last moto of the day. Turn right, back down the hill. Shifting gears, scrub this jump. Back on the brakes, 180. We've seen this section, guys. Able to double it. We'll see what happens in this moto. To the bottom of the track, up the hill, get your weight back, on the throttle, the sweeping left coming into the Lucas Oil finish line jump. Then you will go down Bradshaw Boulevard, past the Fram Mechanics area. Another left, drop down the hill, right, back up the hill, triple jump, and onto the start straight. KTM keys to the moto, changing conditions. We now see sunshine, the track is dried out. Hopefully these guys have made adjustments between Moto 1 and Moto 2. You've got to be smooth through the ruts. This track has just got so many deep, long ruts, and you can easily override the track. And thirdly, can anyone beat Ryan Dungey? He looked clinical in the first moto. Pourcel looked good. Roczen looked decent as well for his standards. In about 30 seconds, we'll see who gets a good start, and that'll make life a whole lot easier.
Dungey did not get a great start in the first moto. Got bumped around a bit in this first turn and had to make passes. We'll see if he can do it again. Second moto, the 450 class, coming your way here live on NBCSN.
Roczen a little slow on the reaction.
Pourcel's got another good one, and this time hugs the inside. That's the error he made in the first moto. He's not going to do it twice. Now he's got the motorsport.com hole shot. Barsha right there with him, and Roczen as well.
Roczen made the most out of that. When he came out of the gate, he had his elbows behind the guys next to him, but he is in third, so damage control right there. But what a start. Pourcel's just been... I don't know what he had for breakfast, but he needs to do that every day.
Yes, totally different rider today compared to the previous 4 races this year. Barsha, the 51 second, Roczen, Dungey, Nicoletti, and Anderson coming through next. So Barsha was in this position in the first moto on that Auto Trader Toyota Yamaha and went down. Ended up fighting back to get inside the top 5. Let's see if he can last, battling it out with Roczen while Pourcel tries to get away.
We got the ingredients for a fantastic race here, Jason. Most of all the heavy hitters up front. This is going to be interesting. Pourcel looked in the first one. Oh, Roczen, slight little mistake there. Foot off the peg, but look at this. Scrubs the jump, gets past Barsha. He knows he's got to get out front and try and run because, like we said in the KTM Keys to the Moto, can anyone beat Dungey? Roczen looks fired up, but so does Christophe Pourcel.
Yeah, and Dungey back there in fourth is right in the mix as well. Now he's trying to figure out a line around Barsha. Where did he figure that part out? I haven't seen anyone go that far to the inside. The exact opposite of what Dungey did in the first moto earlier.
but he wasn't able to do that double down the hill, so he couldn't make it. The inside is actually quicker, but you can't double that downhill from the inside.
Didn't need it. Made the pass on Barsha. Yeah. So well done by Dungey to completely change his attack up from where we were earlier today. And now he's up to third and pressing Roczen. Barsha back down to the inside. Going to try to repass Dungey. And he does.
Wow. Gotta love this. Look at this. Top 4 riders. 4 different brands. 4 of arguably the best riders in the class right now. Roczen up the inside. Tries. He got stuck behind Porcel on that first moto. Trying again side by side, but he's on the outside. Unable to make it happen as Porcel shuts the door.
Well, I love seeing this. I was very curious. Porcel moving into the 450 class this year. He likes to play with the guys. He's very smart, very hard to get by. How is it going to work against the established veterans of the 450 class? He's giving Roczen all he can handle right now. I think Roczen's got him on the outside. He does.
They were both on complete opposite ends of the track.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this. Trying everything. Porcel staying out of the deep stuff.
Now Barsha coming back on Porcel down to the inside. Oh, this rut's just too deep in there for Barsha to make it work. So this is exactly what Roczen wanted to happen. He gets around Barsha and Porcel. Dungey hasn't been able to do it, and he's going to try to go to work.
Oh, and a mistake.
Porcel cross ruts.
So the ruts are so deep. He had one wheel, the front wheel on one rut, the rear wheel on another rut, and basically came to a standstill. Dungey gets around now, so a little gift.
And his teammate on the Rockstar Husky, Jason Anderson, right behind him. So a mistake for Porcel, that helps Dungey, but he's got some work to do because Roczen already trying to take off. Ooh, little mistake for Roczen. Bigger mistake from Barsha. And in classic Barsha style, just twist that thing a little bit harder and gets his speed back.
Yeah, Barsha makes a mistake there, but what Bam Bam does the best, gets on throw. Oh! Clinical from Ryan Dungey there. What a move. Ryan Dungey today in these opening laps have just been unbelievable. You know, we always talk about Dungey finds his rhythm, gets in the groove, but maybe he sees that number 1 in front of him. These guys have respect for each other, but I don't think Roczen wants to beat anyone as much as Dungey, and Dungey doesn't want to beat anyone else as much as Roczen. These two, like I said, have a lot of respect. They were teammates. Roczen got the title last year. You know Ryan Dungey, when he sees that number 1 in front of him, gets him fired up. And look at this, the Husky boys. Another mistake on that triple step up. So the track really playing to a fact where these guys are having to find new lines.
Anderson able to take the measure of his teammate Porcel, so he's quickly up to 4th behind Barsha. And behind them would be Nicoletti 6th, Pike 7th. Han, Seeley, and Noren round out the top 10. We're talking about the battle between Roczen and Dungey. That's also for the overall win today, so this is going to be good up front. Anderson's been pretty good as of late himself.
That was a lot of action for the beginning of this moto.
Right.
A lot of passing, couple of mistakes, back and forth.
Georgia, what are you hearing on Barsha?
Yeah, I spoke to Justin Barsha this morning, and he was one chirpy, positive guy, honestly. Like, this weekend, he's been doing mountain bike races. He said he's been really having so much fun. Mountain bike racing, he says it's the best training. It's almost even harder than riding a dirt bike, he said. So it's really good training, and he's been working with Buddy Antonez, and he said he's had a really good week. And I said, gosh, you seem positive. And he's like, yeah, I'm feeling good right now.
Well, that might be a good combination. I know Budman and good guy, and sometimes for these guys, they just need to work with someone and bring the fun back into it. You know, when you're working as hard as you can day in and day out, and you're just having bad luck and crashes, you just sometimes need to bring back the fun of why you got into the sport. You know, there's a lot of pressure. Yes, these guys get paid well. There's a lot of expectations, but at the end of the day, you gotta have fun, because a happy rider, I've always said, is a fast rider.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. Everybody thinks it's just, you know, he who works hardest will succeed the most, but gotta be in a good mood when you get to the track. Barsha not the only one lining up in those Wednesday mountain bike races there in North Carolina. I know Justin Brayton actually won the race over all the local mountain bike hotshots. Wow. Brayton on the track right now is in 12th, and Weston Pike raced that one as well. But the real race to watch is Barsha, who's gonna have to deal with Anderson in a fight for 3rd.
But getting back to your point, that's a real testament to the physical conditioning that these athletes go through. For those of you who don't ride, motocross is an absolutely grueling sport because it requires every single muscle, a lot of endurance, a lot of intensity, and concentration. On a track like this, you lose concentration, you will hit the deck.
Barsha, and he's got some serious pressure from Anderson now. They've pulled away from Porcel a little bit. This is the battle for third. Roczen still with a second and a half on Dungey. And it's so early, like you said, we had so much action. The beginning stages of the Moto seem like we've been racing for a long time. But look at the countdown clock, top of the screen. We have 23 minutes and then 2 more laps to go. So Barsha's going to have to deal with Anderson for a long, long time.
What I'm really curious about is what's going to happen with Roczen and Dungey up front, because these guys both want it really bad. But Barsha having a good moto again. Unfortunately, first moto had a little tip over. It's been those little mistakes that have held Barsha from maybe the results that haven't proven how actually well he's riding.
Yeah, and he's gotten the good starts for sure. That's helped today. We're set for a Roczen Dungey battle up front. Stay with us. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern, the Verizon IndyCar Series is on NBCSN. Heading north to the border, taking on the streets of Toronto. Indy Toronto tomorrow, 3 Eastern, NBCSN. And not too far, actually, believe it or not, you can drive up to Canada only from about 2 hours from here in the Erie, Pennsylvania area. This is a battle ground for motocross. High Point Raceway. Ken Roczen is your leader. Ryan Dungey is second. Whoever wins this one also wins the days. Overall, Dungey is the series leader. Roczen, last year's champ, started the year with a back injury, has yet to get one of the overall wins this year. Dungey does not want Roczen to get any momentum going. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, Dungey's the points leader, he can just cruise in second, he doesn't need to worry about winning every race. You think there's any chance that he's happy that Roczen's ahead of him and he wants to get him?
No. If he could pick one rider that he would not want to finish in front of him, it's the number one of Ken Roczen. Because these guys are competitors. And Ken Roczen, the way he started the season, I mean, he barely scored points in the first moto. I mean, we thought, is he out? I mean, is he done for the season? And he's just clawed back. Then a moto win. Now he's in position to get his first overall. Georgia, what do you got for us?
Gosh, I'm standing here in the Fran Mechanics area, as you know, and I'm able to see really into the eyes of these guys as they're going past, and I can see straight through their goggles. And as Ryan Dungey passed, I could see the concentration and the focus of his eyes just staring down Ken Roczen. It's funny because you kind of see these guys as machines. You forget they're real people on these dirt bikes, and then once you see the eyes, you can see the emotion and the focus in them.
That's what we're talking about. This is not a points calculating robotic ride from Dungey. He wants to win every race he's in. And also, they would actually split on points today. They would tie on points. They both have a first and a second. But as our old buddy Jeff Emig used to say in this booth, he'll take momentum over points all day long. You can't just let Roczen get win streaks together. That's when bad things start to happen to everybody else.
Exactly.
So Dungey's going to go for it. Gap is 2.5 seconds right now, and you can tell they're moving out.
They are pushing. Look at the gap to third place at, 12 minutes into the moto? Holy smokes, these guys are just flying up front. Jason Anderson riding fantastic, but he's getting left behind by the front duo.
Anderson looking for his second straight podium and third this year. What a weekend for the Rockstar Husky team with that podium performance by Zach Osborne in the 250s. Great riding by Porcel today. Great riding by Anderson. Here is Barsha coming around in fourth.
And coming around with results and just confidence and happiness. Good to see Barsha up front. Behind him, another Husky, Christoph Porcel.
Well, it's funny, I remember right back in the day, there were always 4 brands, Japanese brands. And KTM really made inroads as we watched the Husqvarna here and Porcel come by. And a lot of people were thinking, 5 brands is all you can handle. We now have the big 6 these days. Here's the motorsport.com whole shot replay. Porcel going to put the Husky out front.
Yeah, he gets a great start, but I'm really impressed with Ken Roczen. He didn't get the jump, but he just basically threaded the needle between all these guys. Comes up, but Porcel gets our motorsport.com whole shot award. Barsha edged them out in the first moto.
That's
Role
right.
reversal for the second moto. One up to you, brother.
And Bobby Hewitt, the team owner here, has to be happy that his factory Husqvarna team is working. But it's also a good sign for the sport of motocross that there's room for 6 manufacturers to sell and race motorcycles. We saw other brands try it. Cannondale, a mountain bike company, came in once and tried to make it work. They couldn't. So
let's be honest.
Yeah,
everyone loves the six-pack.
That's right.
Speaking of that, there's the Bud Light
jump. Well, they took the fastest qualifier award on the Husky earlier today. So we haven't had a big six in this sport for a long, long time. You'd have to go back to the earliest days. So that's cool. And outside of the six-pack, this is the battle for 7th. You have Pike and Will Hahn. Pike, Yamaha man, backed by Autotrader.com, Toyota Yamaha, and behind him, Hahn. Definitely the best ride we've seen so far this year from Will Hahn, who broke his arm, his upper arm. And as they say, there's nothing humorous about breaking that at the first practice session of the year in Supercross. Yes.
And some internals and all that. I mean, it was a pretty horrendous crash.
And he had already broken that arm before. He was coming back from a broken upper arm and then re-broke it. I'm pretty impressed that kind of early in the schedule and the comeback for Hahn, he's now a solid top 10 guy, running in 8th. Tickle is 9th, and Seeley on the number 14 is 10th. Tickle a pretty good first moto, but didn't get the start. It did not get as good a start this time around. He was 6th in Moto 1, right now in 9th. And here's Seeley, who was 7th in Moto 1, running 10th right now on the Honda HRC machine. And then behind them is Freddie Noren. We are 15 minutes into this race and 15 minutes to go.
Oh, I know this one.
All right, can you help me?
I think you could save 15% or more in less than 15 minutes on your car or motorcycle or insurance with Geico.
All right. Yeah. Hit enough motos this year if you don't know by now. So here's Noren trying to get inside the top 10. He's 11th right now with his teammate Seeley right in front of him. The Swedish rider coming on strong. He's fighting a knee injury, a little bit of a nagging injury, not anything catastrophic, but doing all he can right now to keep that team proud. He's riding the bike for the injured Trey Canard. Certainly get well soon to Trey, who's out with a broken arm. Hopefully we'll see him back in the second half of the year. Whew, this track is rough today, throwing these guys off.
Welcome back, everybody, to here at High Point. Now I'm joined by Bill from the University of Pennsylvania Medical Center. Now, obviously, all sports can have their dangerous moments, but you guys specifically deal with every sport, and you deal with the impact test that we've heard a lot about. Could you give me an update on kind of what you guys can offer to the sports athletes out there?
Sure. We have a very diverse group of sports medicine physicians, and part of our program at UPMC Center for Sports Medicine is sports concussion folks, and they're specialized in managing concussions. Impact is a tool that they use. It's used for neurocognitive baseline data and a management process. If there is an injury, like motocross, we can get them back to the track safer, quicker, faster, more efficiently.
Awesome. Well, it's great to see you here. Thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you.
That's Mike McDade, who races Arena Cross, a local to the area, raced today also. That's pretty cool to be innovating and having motocross riders be a part of it.
Well, as someone that's had many, many concussions, I really applaud this kind of technology and people trying to improve, because this sport is a wonderful sport, but in any sport, head trauma is something that we're learning more and more about each and every year, and the damaging effects it has. And that's why I love seeing things like helmet innovations. You know, Bell came out with that new flex technology, really trying to protect these riders long term and the longevity of the athlete, so that when he's done racing, there's not massive, long-term effects.
Hey, we're in for a long-term battle here. Ryan Dungey catching back up to Ken Roczen. It was 3.3 as you see on your screen, but now he's cut it down to 2.4. Getting around Kevin Rookstool, lap rider, a little bobble. Every lap it's changed. It was a second and a half. It was 3 seconds. Now it's 2.5 seconds, that gap.
Basically what it's coming down to, Jason, is if you don't make a mistake, you gain a second. If you make a mistake, you lose a second. These guys' pace, or these front two, I should say, so evenly matched. It's coming down. It's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. Because what are we down to? Less than 10 minutes of this race. There's still time for Dungey to make an attack, but Roczen looks comfortable, and Dungey hasn't quite gotten there. But Dungey wants to get there, because he'll probably be really upset to lose the overall after that first moto performance. But Kenny Roczen, each race, each moto. What is the first moto of the year?
19th.
18th? 19th? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we just thought, okay, well, the champ is out.
Yep.
The reigning champ is done for the season. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, hang on a second. His back's getting better. He's riding more. He's feeling better. He's starting to feel comfortable. Then he got closer to the front. Then he got a Moto win. And now it's like, what's the next step after a Moto win?
Absolutely. This could be an overall. Yep.
So
and
great for us back at home.
Yeah, well, we like to have competition, and Dungey, well, I guess he likes to have a competition as well. I'm sure he'd like to be out front here all by himself, but he's got a battle on his hands. UPMC setting up here so people can learn everything they have to offer for athletes from a wide variety of sports, motocross included. Fantastic battle in the waning moments of this UPMC High Point National Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. Ken Roxon on the yellow #1 leads. Ryan Dungey on the orange #5 right there. Whoever wins this moto also wins the day's overall, and that is the motivation. Also, these riders are 1 and 2 in the championship, but they know you win the individual races, the title comes. So Dungey has been digging so hard to get Roxon.
Ooh, a little mistake from Roxon. But this is what we were hoping for, a battle royale. This is like a heavyweight boxing match right here. Are we going to see what we hope for, a slugfest battle? Roxon's kept us cool up front. They both made mistakes. The gap has extended, closed up, extended, closed up. But right now it's probably about as close as it's been since the beginning of the race. Roxon knows Dungey's there. He's getting the pit board saying Dungey minus, at this point, not much.
Yeah.
Because it keeps fluctuating. But Dungey has got Roxon in his sights, and this is for the overall. And the what we call the red cross flag is still out. Very respectful from these guys. It's so hard to not jump a jump when you're in the middle of a moto like this. The true champions are respectful. They know what it's, you know, they've been on the other side of the fence, and you hope no one would land on you. It's a safety feature. No gaining time there. They all slow down. And then immediately back on the gas, and it's back to the battle. And Dungey now is close. He can smell the exhaust fumes out of Roxon's Suzuki 450. 4 minutes to go, plus 2 laps.
And shout out, that's Brock Schmellion, who's down in that section with that red cross flag out. That's the wheels on the ground, not allowed to jump the jumps flag. So I hope Schmellion's okay. And I think Dungey's even closer than he was before.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to jump downhill. And then this section is so difficult with the ruts, and Dungey almost tagged with the lap rider, Gannon Audet. Just got by him. Oh, they're in the thick of the back markers while fighting each other, and a very tricky track with all these ruts. Unbelievable. And this is also the point of the race where fitness is going to come into play. 3 minutes and 2 laps left. And a lot of talk, by the way, about Ken Roxon, who was with Alden Baker as a trainer last year, and he won the title. And then he volunteered to leave Baker's program, and of course Dungey picked that program up. Won the Monster Energy Supercross title this year, leading the points here. Oh,
little
and
mistake
this is where
from
fitness
Dungey
is going to be, Oh man, there's so much on the line. But Roxon has been clear. He thinks he feels stronger this year now that he's no longer part of Baker's program. We'll see who's got it down the stretch. Great battle. Battle is on here at High Point. Ken Roxon on the Soaring Eagle. Jimmy John Suzuki leads it. Ryan Dungey popping into the screen at times. But the last lap around, Dungey made a mistake. He ran a 2:05 lap time with a 2-minute 3-second lap for Roxon. So Roxon's got it up to 4 seconds now. Dungey's really going to have to get desperate. It's a lap rider here. There is Dungey. So Roxon stretching it out down this stretch, so to speak.
And Dungey lost another chunk of time right in that last half lap. So maybe at this point figuring, hey, I threw everything at it, made a few mistakes, don't throw it away. Because think about it, if he throws it away and there's no points, all of a sudden that point championship makes a huge change.
That's right.
All of a sudden, Roxon's knocking on the door of being the points leader. So Kenny's rode a great race under a ton of pressure. Dungey's been right on him.
And good news for Roxon, the countdown clock just expired. 2 laps to go. It could have so easily been 3 laps to go. Yeah, so he has 1 less lap now to hold off Dungey. That's how we do it at motocross. 30 seconds or 30 minutes expires, and then it's 2 laps to go. Dungey's going to try to give it 1 more run. Anyway, as I was saying before break, quite the personal cross between these two. They were teammates for KTM last year. Roxon left to go to Suzuki, and then they switched trainers. Georgia, it's a really interesting interview during the week that Ken Roczen did on the Racetrack site explaining why he left Alden Baker. You got any insight on that?
Yeah, we did speak about that earlier, is that interview about how he just was kind of tired and he literally wasn't eating enough. But we talk about this relationship, how they swap trainers. The other funny thing is huge competitors, probably the two most competitive people, and yet they live 2 doors down from each other in Florida. Now, can you imagine that? You know when each other are riding, you know each other when they leave the house, but I guess, yep, they are neighbors now as well.
Yeah, that's just kind of the mecca now. All the riders moved to the Central Florida area. So if that's the prime place to ride and train, they're all going to end up apparently on the same block. Now, again, we've never seen any outright disrespect between these two riders, even though they spent the last 2 summers battling tooth and nail for this championship. But as you say, Grant, they're probably not going to go to dinner tonight either. No, but they try to keep it cordial as best they can with everything that's on the line and the personal history of the trainers, teams, and everything else that comes with it.
Sum it up in one word: competitors.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys are. It's nothing personal. It's like you say, it's business. Dungey wants to beat Roczen really bad, and sometimes you can't be friends with your competitor. You got to use whatever you can as motivation to try and beat them. So for these guys, and with the teams, you know that Roger DaCosta would hate, I shouldn't say hate, he doesn't want to see Roczen, who left the team, beating his KTM rider, vice versa, all these things. But at the end of the day, we're talking about 2 very talented riders on 2 different brands. But we got lap traffic. Is this going to have an effect going to the last lap? They're slowing up.
Oh, man, Dungey has lost a ton of time now. I got to say, these last 4 or 5 laps, Dungey has lost touch with Roczen, and Roczen has really stepped up. So if there's any question about Roczen being back to 100% as far as the fitness, after a couple of injuries he was dealing with, he had the ankle problem in Supercross, the back problem to start this motocross campaign. Well, he's answering any of those questions right now. And there's a weekend off after this, and he had originally told me that he did not think he'd be at the absolute top of his game until after that weekend off. He knew it was going to take a little time to recover from these injuries, so this is actually coming maybe a race early. What a performance, and he is stepping up on this last lap.
But think about it too. This will be the first weekend he does not lose ground to Dungey. They'll tie in points. Roczen will get the overall, but he's, as we say, stopping the bleeding at round 5. So the next 7 rounds, I want to imagine, are going to be pretty entertaining. Dungey does have a pretty comfortable lead in the points, but like we said before, 1 mechanical, 1 DNF, 1 anything like that, all of a sudden, it's a tight championship battle. But I guess just being a fan of the sport, I love seeing the competition. Roczen has ridden a fantastic race under immense pressure, and then he was able to pull it away from Dungey. Not sure if Dungey's been making mistakes, but Roczen has been just so focused. He hasn't looked back. He hasn't done anything besides put his head down and charge. And I think Dungey, after making a couple of mistakes, has just figured 22 points is better than 0.
Absolutely. But don't think that, again, that Dungey was counting them early in the race. He threw everything he had at it. These guys want to beat each other every time they're out there, and Dungey knows. Roczen got that first Moto win last week. He's going to get his first overall win this week. Now we go into a week off. He's aware of how valuable the momentum is. Obviously, Roczen is as well. That's why they both gave it everything they had in this one, and Roxon's going to come out on top. He wins High Point 2015.
You think he's happy? That was a fist pump that almost dislocated his shoulder right there.
Yeah, that's a fist pump heard around the world. Roczen is back in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Great run for Dungey, but he's going to have to settle for second in this moto. Remember, he won the first moto earlier today, so they will tie on points, but the tiebreaker is the second moto. Roczen has won, and considering where he started 5 weeks ago with that 19th in the first race, unbelievable. And this guy, again, if you didn't see the 2 in front, you'd think he won. He was riding awesome. Jason Anderson, third.
There we go.
Maybe he does think he won. He celebrates.
Yeah, he's pumped. He rode good. The front 2 were just next level today.
And that should be third overall for Anderson again. That's 2 podiums for him. Let's send it to Georgia, who has our winner.
Yes, congratulations, Ken Roczen. This is your first overall win since Crawfordsville last August. Huge congratulations, but I cannot even comprehend the concentration and how much your nerves must have been going, because Ryan Dungey was on your back the entire time, and yet you kept it cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, I kept trying to ride smart. You know, the track's really gnarly, slippery on some spots, and but man, I got to give it up to Soaring Eagle, Jimmy John's Factory Suzuki team, Red Bull, Fox, Bel Ray, Ram Trucks, Red Bull, Oakley, GoPro. Everybody standing behind me, and my dad and Clint. We put in some hard work, and Kelly's the best mechanic out there, and it feels good to finally get an overall.
Do you think this is the step towards getting more of these overalls? Obviously, you started the season not 100%, but now you're getting better and better.
Yeah, for sure. I want to, make up some points. Again, Ryan and I, we go with the same points as we came in, but at least we didn't lose anything.
Perfect. Huge congratulations to Ken Roczen.
Well, it's got to start somewhere. Evening up Dungey today. We still have more than half a season to go for him to try to close in and make a run of it. Ken Roczen under intense pressure all day long. Here he makes the move on Christophe Pourcel to get the lead. Dungey was there for the next 25 minutes, and down the stretch he pulled away and takes the win. Racing is concluded here at High Point Raceway, round 5. The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship fans are either headed to the podium to get sprayed with champagne, or they're headed to the exits. Let's give you the Lucas Oil race recap and show you how this final 450 race played out. Another great start for the Rockstar Husqvarna of Christophe Pourcel. That's the white motorcycle. Holds the inside line, holds the pack off, and he holds the Motorsport.com Whole Shot Award. Watch out for the number 1 of Ken Roczen. He gets around Justin Barcia to get to second, and now he's battling with Pourcel for the lead.
Yeah, and then comes up the inside. Pourcel has a look over, leaves the door open. Roczen gets by him, and he would hold the lead, but not without some pressure from the points leader, Ryan Dungey, right on him for most of this race. And then towards the end, see Dungey making a few little mistakes. From there, Roczen just eliminated the mistakes and rode phenomenally well. And the number 1 finishes just there.
Yeah.
First.
Number 1 today, and that is huge. This guy started the year off with a back injury. We really thought that we would see. I was waiting for the press release to say he was out with a back injury and not going to be able to race this summer. No, we did not.
Yeah.
Instead, he's actually recovered, and he's finally got a victory this year. Dungey finishes second. Anderson and Pourcel put those Husqvarnas in the top 5. Barcia splits them in 4th. Pike and Nicoletti, those are Barcia's teammates. Good runs for them, 6th and 7th of the Yamahas. Tickle, Hahn, and Seeley round out the top 10. Let's send it to Georgia with Ryan Dungey.
Yes, Ryan Dungey, congratulations. Second overall here at High Point. You were behind Ken that entire moto. I was talking to you about the concentration of just staying focused. Was it for you? You were doing damage control and just sticking in that second place? Because you kind of caught up, then you kind of went back a little bit, then you caught up a bit.
Yeah, not damage control at all. I was going out for a win, and Ken's riding good. He's always a tough competitor, as always. But, we were putting a good charge. I ate a lot of roost and a lot of dirt. I was trying extra hard, but, you can't win them all. We put a good effort. We made a lot of progress coming in this week. I was really happy with the performance, and just towards the end there, that lapper got in between us, and I think it gave Ken that little bit of hope he needed. But all in all, it was a good day. Team Red Bull KTM did an awesome job, and bike was running good. Got to thank Carlos, my mechanic, my bus driver Eddie, my mom and dad, wife Lindsay, everybody. It's a good day. It's a hot one, kind of our first hot one, but we tied for points today, didn't lose nothing, so we'll take a break and come back strong.
I was going to say, you've got that red plate and we're going into a break. What's the plan for your break?
I think we're at a stage where we can keep building and getting stronger, and with a weekend off, a little bit of rest, but not too much, so, we're not going to be flying everywhere, and we can more be at home, putting in our laps and getting more comfortable. And I think you'll see the whole 450 class raised to another level by Budds Creek.
That's for sure. Well, huge congratulations. You got a 37-point lead. Well done. There's Ryan Dungey.
Yeah, somewhere down to that one block in Florida. There's going to be a lot of work going on over the next 14 days. Here are your overall results. Roczen and Dungey each have a second and a first, so they tie in the series points today, but the tiebreaker is the second moto. And Jason Anderson really coming on strong here lately, and he is with Georgia.
Yes, Jason Anderson, you are right, coming on incredibly strong. But for you, you're actually training with Ryan Dungey right now, with Alden Baker. You're down training together. How is that when you train together, you come here and race together, and now on the podium together?
Yeah, it's cool to have him there by my side and a guy to push you during the week. You know, ego is what keeps us racing and fighting to win, and we have that every day. So we're definitely pushing each other, and I don't want to be faster than me. He doesn't want me to be faster than him. So it's good. You know, it's a good deal we got going on down there. But you know, I had a good day here at High Point, and couldn't do it without my Rockstar Energy Husqvarna team by my side. And you know, it's been good so far, and just going to try and keep going, and you know, hopefully be up on the box more.
Congratulations, well done. Jason Anderson with there.
Here are your series points. Anderson vaulting back up to third. Tough day for Blake Baggett, who had a 34th and an 11th today. So he goes from third to fifth in the standings. Barsha moving up to fourth. So very close. Look at that. About 20 points between third and eighth, who is the idle Eli Tomac. But watch out for Christophe Pourcel, who is clearly finding himself a good ride today. And speaking of Pourcel, he's down with Georgia.
Yes, Christophe Pourcel, congratulations on today. It seems like you've really made a step in the right direction. You've got a week off, and then you're coming back. What do you think you're going to work on to improve and then keep this consistency in these good races?
Oh, you know, the big improvement was this weekend. You know, it's a good start. Bike is a lot better, you know, and I feel good riding with those guys. Sekimoto is riding a little tight still, but, you know, those guys ride really fast, and, you know, I'm following them and trying to get the speed and get the rhythm, and I think we'll be ready to fight for our top 5 now, and I'm very pleased with the team.
Well done, thank you, Christophe. And the other side of me, we have Justin Barsha. Justin, I said earlier that you were the bid to be fit. I said that a few weeks ago, but you are coming on strong as well. The improvements you have made, you've had a few mistakes today that haven't always been your fault, but like I said to him, you're going into a week off. I know you like mountain biking, but what else are you going to be up to?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was a tough day today. I want to be on the podium so bad. Just got to get the fine-tuning down. Buddy Antonet's been helping me a lot. I'm getting better and better. The team's, you know, the bike's getting better. Off week, I'm just going to train hard, you know, take a little rest, but I'm going to still do what I like to do, and that's ride dirt bikes, ride my bicycle. I can't thank everyone enough at the JGR, MX team, Oil Trader, Toyota, just everyone, Yamaha, for helping me out, getting the bike dialed, and all the Gibbs guys. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Justin.
Here's your upcoming schedule, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Yes, we have a weekend off, but it'll be here before you know it. That's Budds Creek. That'll be round 6. MAF TV is your first motos, and your second motos on NBCSN. That's the usual schedule. We'll see. Dungey says everyone will raise their level a bit with that weekend off. They don't have to worry about traveling days. They can just train and ride the entire time. We're right in the heart of this championship, so not going to be much rest for the weary, even with the weekend off. They're going to be going for it.
No, they call it a weekend off, but trust me, it's anything but a weekend off. It just means no racing. That's about it. Stay home, do a lot of laps, work on your speed, get the bike dialed in. Everyone's going to be working on something. But what a great day of racing, Jason.
Plot thickens. Marvin Muscan retaking the points lead in the 250 class, and Ken Roxon getting his first win this year in the 450 class. When these guys meet again at Budds Creek, it is going to be awesome. For Grant and Georgia, I'm Jason. Thanks for watching, and congrats to our winners from High Point.